Welcome back to Pre-Recorded Gem. Mixtape was released in May 7th of 2026, which, as of I'm making this video, was only 2 months ago. I didn't immediately jump on the Mixtape hate train the moment where I could have made a shit ton of views when other people were also shitting on Mixtape at the same time, because A, I was working on the other vids, and B, I didn't want my judgment to be clouded by people on Twitter that call anything woke and gay. Because guess what? Most of these YouTubers did spread a rumor so bad that it's under every Instagram reel or YouTube video about Mixtape that I've ever seen. So, okay, this will be one of the few times where I'll be defending Mixtape in this video, but this really says a lot about the lack of research on the YouTube landscape. But apparently, people have been saying that this game was made by a Nepo baby whose father is not only a billionaire, but one of the richest billionaires. She made this game and pretended that this game was like an indie game, a low budget indie game. Because it's not exactly indie when you have access to billions of dollars. But what everybody ignored is the fact that Megan Ellison, the daughter of Larry Ellison, who owns the publishing company Annapurna Interactive, which has published many games in the past, like Edith Flinch, Outer Wilds, 12 Minutes, Neon White, Stray.
Is the new game from publisher Annapurna.
Yes, I know, Donkey. This name is such a bitch to pronunciate, but then I found out that it's spelled as Annapurna, you know, like the mountain in Nepal. I guess what they were trying to signify with this name for their publishing company is that they only publish peak stuff. Ooh boy, if that was the case, well, that didn't age well with Mixtape. But anyways, Annapurna Interactive usually publishes these indie games. Emphasis on publish. They didn't make any of these games, including Mixtape. They just published Mixtape just like all these other well-respected titles. There is a huge difference between publisher and developer. Megan Ellison is the CEO of Annapurna Interactive, the publishing company. She's not the CEO of the company that actually made the damn thing and wrote the damn thing. That would be Beethoven and Dinosaur, and its CEO and creative director, Johnny Galvatron. You know, the guy who actually made the game and its story. But obviously nobody bothered to look this up because it makes up for attractive headlines and memes.
They can't be an indie dev because their father is a billionaire? Listen, just because they've got a team of 30 people and millions of dollars backing them, that doesn't mean they can't be a scrappy indie too. Curb your prejudice.
And by the way, nobody would care if it was a indie studio. The reason why people care is because the game's bad. That's the reason why they care. They don't care if it's Larry Ellison's daughter. If she was making Elden Ring, people would say, wow, it looks like she's as smart as her dad.
I mean, you're right about the game's second part, but it's kind of funny how both of these YouTubers, well, only one of them because the other one just does react streams, so it's expected of Asmongold to get shit wrong all the time. Asmongold isn't a YouTuber, and his sole source of information and hydration is his chat and soda. This specimen does not drink H2O, but Fleekazoid, how did you get this wrong? You literally pulled up a screenshot in your own video, by the way, that says Annapurna Interactive is the publisher, not the developer. You know this, and you still got all the wrong meaning out of this sentence. Are you like stupid? Or maybe he got replaced by AI because his channel is filled with so much AI slop. But anyways, yes, you can make the argument that maybe the publishing company dumped a little too much money into this game, because otherwise, how in the hell do they have all this licensed music? Not only licensing music for a movie or a game in this case costs about hundreds of thousands of dollars per track, but for Mixtape, they paid extra to have permanent licensing so that they don't have to remove or replace the music in the future. So there is a pretty solid argument to be made if this is even indie anymore, because the budget at this point has to be in the millions, or most likely 10 plus millions. But still, Annapurna is the publisher, not the developer. They just probably provided them with more money because all of their previous publishing projects have been successful. But like besides external factors like these and the fact that all the paid reviewers calling this game a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, like shit, they even got Luke Stevens shilling for this game. He deadass makes a short because if he made a video that would get even more backlash. Hell, the short that he made also got a ton of backlash. Like, my guy, you're a gaming reviewer slash journalist. This is literally your job. At least make your lies believable. How do you even think that Mixtape will win Game of the Year when in the same year we have had Resident Evil Requiem, Lego Batman, 007, Pragmata, Mouse PI, Saros, and yes, GTA fucking 6. It's kind of poetic because like one of my first YouTube videos on this channel is me taking a shit on Luke Stephens and that if he's a shill. Well, this pretty much confirms it. Like, Mixtape isn't even in the same discussion for Game of the Year. It could have been if it was good. So why is Mixtape so bad? Is it overhated or not? I'll start with talking about the gameplay first and then the story cause trust me, it'll be short. But initially, I thought people were just hopping on the bandwagon of hate to say this game has no gameplay. I thought it was a little hypocritical cause games like Detroit Become Human, The Walking Dead, and Before Your Eyes, again please, play that game, quit this video if you haven't played it cause I'll be comparing it to Mixtape a lot and we'll have story spoilers, so trust me. But yeah, as I was saying, I thought, hey, these narrative games don't have like the most riveting gameplay either. So this is probably just over-exaggerated. Nope, it isn't. It is somehow that bad. That this is me recording my gameplay like real life, like a fucking IRL stream by XQC or whatever. Like, as you can see for the cop chase section, just to show this, I paused the game right there so you can see I'm not like just showing a recorded video controller. And this entire section, I kid you not, you can just sit there and that's it. The game literally plays itself. There is no stakes whatsoever. Which brings me to my first problem with this game is the lack of stakes. When you make an interactive game like this, you can still have some level of stakes. In Detroit Become Human, you are engaged in the gameplay, which is largely just making choices and QTEs and occasionally doing some detective work. Very Arkham Origins, LA Noire-esque type stuff. But largely, you care because if you pick up certain choices, you might get a different ending, or one of your main characters can die based on your decisions. There's consequences to your actions in Detroit. And yes, I have my problems with the story of Detroit Become Human, but at least the game made me care, which is very important. There's stakes if I don't pay attention. My gameplay matters. My gameplay complements the story. In Mixtape, this isn't the case at all. Not only there isn't any choices or different endings, which would be fine if the story was actually good, but the game doesn't require any input from me at all, and the gameplay doesn't complement the story. Take Before Your Eyes, for example, that has extremely minimal gameplay, and it's only 1 hour and 30 minutes long, and it's only like $1 in my country during like a Steam sale, and is 100 times better compared to Mixtape. That is not only $10 when on a Steam sale, but is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. Meaning, if you finish the game Before Your Eyes, you can just refund it. And you can tell the devs really want to stretch out the story and put filler in Mixtape so that they can allow you to have a refund on Steam. Which is just a really shitty thing to do. Extending your story and putting filler in it unnecessarily just so people cannot get a refund is a shitty thing to do. Meanwhile, Before Your Eyes is like, oh, you played through our entire game and didn't like the story? Okay, it's fine. You can get you can have all of your money back. Before Your Eyes has almost no filler. It's a very focused story. It doesn't sacrifice its quality just to increase the length of its own story so you can't refund it. You can have a longer story, but only if your story actually requires the longer length. Unlike Mixtape, where you can literally point out the sections of the game that could have been cut out, that provided nothing to the story. And no, not the tongue scene, except the tongue scene. I actually thought it was fucking hilarious. But for now, I want to talk about the gameplay. And Before Your Eyes, all you do is move your mouse and blink in real life using the webcam eye tracker that the game has. And when you blink, you jump forward in time. And although this sounds simple and easy enough, it really isn't, because how emotional the story gets towards the end. But most importantly, the game already makes you care, not only because of the good writing, but since you as the audience don't want to miss out on the story. But that's the point of Before Your Eyes as the whole. Life goes by in a blink of an eye, and you can't stay in the moment forever. Sadly, that's just how it is. See how the gameplay in this case complements the story? I'll use a final example, but in Ghost of Tsushima, Jin Sakai, our protagonist, wrestles with his samurai code of honor as he has to protect his homeland, Tsushima, from Khotun Khan's invasion. An invasion that did happen in real life, although Khotun Khan is a fictional character. But Jin Sakai has to sacrifice his honor code of samurai and has to rely on these unconventional tactics like stealth, poison, and deception to save his homeland. He protects his homeland, but at the cost of breaking his samurai code that he has known for all of his life, and also souring things between him and his father figure. The gameplay complements this, as you, as the player, will end up relying on stealth and many unconventional tactics, especially when you're playing on lethal difficulty, which is like the greatest difficulty in gaming, by the way. It's really good. It's basically where everybody is 1 to 3 shot, but so are you. Like, you can die instantly, but so will your enemies. The gameplay complements the story as you end up not only using these tactics of the ghost, but end up breaking your samurai code because you cannot fight with honor against these people. Even in the context of the gameplay, it is much harder to fight face to face and bum rush your way through, as the game does get harder. You will have to end up using stealth because otherwise you're very much likely going to die. And as you play through the game, you end up unlocking more tools, you learn more moves, and you feel like you're getting better at the game. You really feel like the Ghost of Tsushima. And again, even in this case, the gameplay complements the story through its gameplay, because if there is no stakes in the gameplay, or if the gameplay isn't going along with the themes of the game, or isn't enhancing the story of the game, then at that point, it's just a movie with a few interactions here and there, which also would be fine if the story was good. That's the problem with Mixtape. It just doesn't do anything right. Like, give me a bone, man. Give me something to chew off of. Give me a good story or gameplay, but give me something. You don't necessarily need a gameplay that complements the story. You can just have fun, intuitive gameplay too. But just give me anything. Why can't you do nothing? Like, imagine if the skateboarding gameplay had more depth to it. This could have been Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but with a coming-of-age story. But of course, even the skating gameplay is so meh. You basically go through this restricted path with not a lot of wiggle room to do stuff except the stunts occasionally. But again, it handholds you so much to the point where you basically have to fail on purpose. And even then, there's no drawbacks because you'll be sent back a few seconds before instantly. Like, I can't even see the ragdoll animations if I crash into something. It's just, oh, you were about to collide into something. Well, don't worry, we'll handhold you through this and send you back a few seconds before automatically. It has nothing to offer. No choices, no story, and no gameplay. But enough about the gameplay. Now let's move on to the story.
What's the story, Wishbone?
Mixtape is a coming-of-age story in the 90s if it was written by someone who was not born in the 90s. And since I wasn't alive during the 90s, I can't really speak on the nostalgia and stuff. But the people that were alive back then agree that, yeah, I'd get some of the stuff wrong, like rewinding the tape in all the wrong ways, and how people do not talk like this.
My hair care products are filth and malevolence.
Right! What are we gonna do?
What's demanded of us? This is Sensitive to Light by Rainbow, 1978. God, I hate Jenny fucking Goodspeed.
I've decided to disappoint my parents.
Dope.
This year, I want to ride a flaming stallion of delinquency.
Yes.
And lick all the ice creams, but I have a singular gift, a cause. It's a crushing responsibility.
You mean making mixtapes?
I mean, pairing the perfect song for the corresponding moment. Oh, I get hired by Violent Sound, become Bella Deltone's prodigy. She makes the best soundtracks. She's done every film I've ever loved. I amass the largest private collection of records and tapes in the continental United States. Move back west, Hollywood, probably. Score the great films of the next 5 decades. Then, when I die, my record collection is donated to the peoples of California.
Will you ever come back to the lagoon?
I shall deny I ever lived here.
Huh.
What does that mean, though? Like, disassociated? Bored of sex and drugs?
How could you get bored of it?
Chaw.
Cha.
Chaw.
Not into the T-Rex. Too safe, too mainstream. The Barry Manilow of dinosaurs. Sometimes an experience can't be categorized in a single genre. It's too complex. I find these situations difficult. You need a song that plays in counterpoint, something that fills the gaps, harmonizes, casts your feelings in relief. This is B.J. Thomas with Most of All, released in 1968. Fuck!
I know.
I had every song planned out. We were supposed to be listening to Swans now. This is no time for Swans.
It's not.
Fuck. My soundtrack is unraveling. I'll need to improvise. As we continue our mission for booze on the way to Camille Cole's party, I require something that fills every possible spectrum of sound, causing the brain to superaneurysm and explode and die. I feel nothing but rage. This is Love by the Smashing Pumpkins.
Like, see what I mean? The main character feels like a Reddit moderator for r/music. She, along with others, talk like this the entire time. The whole facing the camera and doing exposition just doesn't works with this dialogue and these characters. It's like, yeah guys, I'm watching Citizen Kane and Metal Gear Solid by Hideo Kojima in 1999, cause I feel sad in this moment. Also, I had a baby, and I left that baby because I couldn't pay child support. That's why now I'm playing Yakuza. This just doesn't works. The main character is so shallow that that's all this character is. Just obsessed with music. There's no depth to this character. We don't learn anything about this character, and there's no character arc to the main protagonist. The only character that we dig a bit into is Cassandra, and that's it. And you know what? Scratch that. There's no problem with having no character development. Like, take Cowboy Bebop, for example. It's a show about these group of 5 characters that go on these space adventures. I know it's a very shallow summary of Cowboy Bebop, but in that anime, you have these characters that you can argue don't really change a lot. Partly because that's kind of the point of the show, but also because the writing is so good and the chemistry between these characters is so well done that it makes up for the lack of character development with these characters. The dialogue is well written and the overarching plot is also well done. And again, the chemistry between these characters is also very well done. But Mixtape, on the other hand, isn't like this. The dialogue is terribly written, the chemistry between the characters is so shallow. Like, these friends don't really even feel like friends. Like, I would not want to meet these people in real life. I feel like that's kind of the problem with Mixtape. Not only they're not likable, but there's just no chemistry between them, and the poor dialogue writing doesn't really help their case. But the other point that I want to talk about is the filler stuff that Mixtape does. Unlike Cowboy Bebop, which is a show with 26 episodes, each 20 minutes, which totals up to 520 minutes, which is about 8.6 hours, Mixtape is only 2 hours and 30 minutes long. It's not episodic. Even for a game, 2 hours and 30 minutes is such a short amount of time already that it needs to be very focused in terms of what it wants to do with its plot and characters. And it also needs to shove in the gameplay that it has somehow. So combined with these little problems and the flashback that this game takes you through, which don't really move the plot forward, don't develop the characters, and we as an audience don't get attached to these characters because of the lack of good writing, shitty character chemistry, and bad dialogue. You as an audience don't end up caring about these characters. Like, the first half of this game barely has anything going for it because it tries to get you to care about these characters while also doing everything wrong. In the beginning section of this game, you have flashbacks you go through, like the one part with the cop chase, with the non-existent gameplay, and the 1 minute or so cutscene flashback of the conversation between Cassandra and our main protagonist. This scene was supposed to develop the friendship between Cassandra and Rockford and also tell us how much music means to Rockford. Problem with this, however, it's not done effectively, and this cutscene right here and this cop chase section and many other flashbacks don't do a good enough job at doing quite literally anything. And as a result, it feels like actual filler, and this first half of the game feels like a big waste of time combined with cringe, until the plot eventually moves on and finds its direction, and when the flashbacks are focused more on Cassandra, because that's the only time where the story somewhat becomes interesting. But the second half isn't perfect either. Actually, it's far from it. Actually, let me do the honor of showing you a total tonal whiplash in this scene. This is supposed to be a dramatic scene where conflict has broken out between two friends, Cassandra and Rockford. I'm gonna play the clip from the beginning, but just watch towards the end as to how Rockford copes with this. It's some actual emo anime monologue said out loud type shit.
Why do we have to run everything by you? You're ditching us.
I'm not ditching you. Grow up.
You don't get to leave and still tell us what to do. We're not your fucking sidekicks.
I think we should probably chill out.
You're being an asshole.
Fuck off. What are you doing?
I'm listening to Roads by Portishead from their debut album. It's kind of hollow, haunting, long stretches of electric piano, because I honestly don't know what song to play.
This is like Tommy Wiseau's The Room level writing. This scene was written and recorded in a studio and then animated and made it into the final product, and nobody pointed out how tone-deaf Rockford sounds here. It's just the fact that the writers seriously thought that Rockford saying, "I'm listening to Travis Scott cause I'm sad," would be not funny and be taken seriously. Like, what fucking human talks like this? The worst part is, this isn't even like Marvel quippy humor where a tense scene is broken up by a joke. Cause at least in that example, they're self-aware, and here it is said with absolute sincerity, as if we, the audience, wouldn't laugh at this. Like, this was supposed to be a tense, serious, dramatic scene, and then Rockford just pulls out the, "Oh man, I'm so sad right now. My mom just died, and now you're telling me that I'm not a good friend? Oh shucks, I'm gonna listen to The Thick of It by KSI.
From the screen to the ring to the pen to the key.
Damn, I didn't know that Christopher Nolan filmed the Thick of It music video with IMAX 70mm cameras. Got the square aspect ratio and everything. As I was going through my points that I was gonna go through, I came across an interesting plot hole. So in Mixtape, there's parts where you will see characters do stuff that are, well, impossible to do in real life, but we see them do it. The implication is that this is all in Rockford's head and how she perceives these moments in her own mind. Well, there's a point in Mixtape where she's blowing stuff up using her mind and fingers, you know, as you do, and then there's a part where she blows up this giant gumball machine. When she does this, Slater actually reacts to this verbally. I don't think you understand the implication of this, but this basically means if Slater reacted to Rockford blowing up the gumball machine, that means this wasn't in her head, which also means she actually blew up all those other things like cars and people. Like, she literally blows up 3 moving cars that definitely have people in it, and then 7 other parked cars and a lot of public property damage. Which means Rockford is a mass murderer psychopath with superpowers. Suddenly, this story turns into a very different kind of story. She's basically a Spider-Man villain. You know, some Infamous 2 type shit. But if they actually went with this plotline, it would still be better than whatever we got in the end. This is gonna be my final point, but I just want to give this game a one last middle finger by comparing it to 2021's Before Your Eyes. As I said, Before Your Eyes is shorter in duration, but is also cheaper and 100 times better. Before Your Eyes isn't just good because it's being compared to Mixtape. It's really, really good even on its own. And in just 1 hour and 30 minutes, Before Your Eyes has more developed characters that we as an audience get attached to, like Benjamin Bryn, the faceless protagonist. A literal faceless protagonist with no dialogue has more character development than the character that does. And then the ferryman, Richard, who's your dad, Ellie, who's your mom. Shit, the fucking side character love interest had more of my attention than these 2 fucking clowns. Meanwhile, Mixtape has only one character that it kinda does well, Cassandra. Before Your Eyes basically does everything right that Mixtape just gets wrong. It's got better dialogue, it's got a story that way more people will relate to, like a death of the loved one, missed opportunities in life, characters that actually talk and feel like real people, and the plot is very focused because obviously it has to be. You only have 1 hour and 30 minutes, so this story has no filler, unlike Mixtape. Before Your Eyes is a great example of how games with minimal gameplay and more story focus can work. It's just that Mixtape is badly written. Even in the second half of Mixtape, where it slightly gets better, still isn't that good, because the foundation is so wonky. And I kinda wanna go back and talk about the second half. So remember this scene, right? It's where Cassandra and Rockford have a fight because she's basically leaving her friends where they instead could have spent a bit more time together. And the thing is, Cassandra is right. Rockford's whole plan is basically that she's trying to catch this famous music producer. And she's somehow found out that the producer will be hunkering down in New York for about a week. So Rockford basically pulled all the money she had, book a flight, and is hoping to intercept the producer before she leaves, cost said producer with her mixtape, and get hired on. She even admits it's basically stalking. She's basically leaving her friends over a pipe dream, and Cass is mad about that. It's the singular thing any of the 3 main characters feel that I don't object to, because Cass is completely right to be mad at her friend for abandoning them to chase this dumbass fantasy. That's like me going up to Christopher Nolan and telling him that, hey, Chris Nolan, this is my script. What do you think? Will you make the next movie on my script? And Christopher Nolan will basically say, how the fuck did you get in my house? Get the fuck out. And then he's gonna promote his movie, The Odyssey. In the end, Mixtape is basically a visually cool looking game with good music. Like seriously, if you don't know any of the context behind the game and you just look at the trailer for this game or something, muted, of course, because the dialogue fucking sucks, and the voice acting in this game is genuinely horrendous. The main girl's inconsistent surfer dude weed lover voice makes me wish I was deaf. Like, the protagonist talks about music like she was Patrick Bateman in a raincoat, but instead of violently butchering me with an axe, she does something 30,000 times worse. She lets me live and forces me to sit and desperately try to evolve the ability to digest my own brain. But this game still looks really good. Talented people animated all the cutscenes and stuff. There was some amount of passion that was put into this, which is sad because it seems besides the music and visual department, this game failed at everything. Moral of the story is, go play before your eyes. And as I said, I don't really have an outro for my videos, so I'll feed you this peak writing from the ending of Mixtape that will not make your ears and eyes bleed.
I want you to understand. This ain't a catastrophe. It's a warning. Daddy, if you trap me here, this will only be the beginnings of my wicked ways. 'Cause I'm angry